Welcome back to Uncharted Waters with Admiral Waters. I'm your co-host, Lieutenant Commander Kenneth Bradley. Lock in with us as we have a conversation about mission and mindset pertaining to all things Navy recruiting. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And share it with everyone. Send it to your mom, send it to your dad, send it to yourself and watch it 50 billion times. All right, let's get into the conversation. And welcome back to another episode of Uncharted Waters with Admiral Waters. I'm your co-host, Lieutenant Commander Kenneth. I think my first name is Kenneth Bradley. And we're going to leave that one in because we need to see that I'm human just like everyone else. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Send it to everyone that you know. Watch it about 1,000 times. I think that's a good amount of time to watch.
It's about right.
It's about right? Mm-hmm. You heard it from the boss. I didn't say it. But we're gonna have a very great conversation today that I feel is very needed, and I think it'll assist you all today. So thank you for joining us. Joining us today is Senior Chief Hoskins and LS1 Hayer. Could you please tell us a little bit about yourself, Senior?
Yes, sir. I'm Senior Chief Hoskins. I am the Assistant Chief Recruiter of NRRC, and I've been recruiting for 10 years, so I'm very passionate about the mission that we have and what we do.
Yeah, great. Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
LS1.
Hi, I'm LS1 Hayer. I work out of RTAG Northeast in the Norfolk site Norfolk, and I've been doing this for a little over a year.
Okay. Well, glad to have you.
All right. So, Senior, first question for you. What initially drew you into this field, and what has kept you passionate about it over the years?
So what has drawn me into the field and kept me passionate about it over the years is truly my own experience transitioning from active duty into the reserve. When I decided to leave active duty, I personally knew that I wanted to join the reserve. And at the time in 2013, there just wasn't a conversation like it is now about the transition into the reserve. And the career counselor didn't really have the knowledge to assist me in a smooth transition. So as I went back home, I knew that I wanted to join the reserve, and I had to beat the drum and figure out who was going to put me in the reserve. So I called an active duty office, and to no fault of their own, they did not know who the prior service recruiter was in their area. And I really hit a brick wall trying to figure that out. So I eventually called, at the time it was Navy Recruiting District, Ohio, and said, hey, I'm really interested in the reserve, and I'm looking for someone to put me in. So they were able to connect me with a recruiter about 2 hours away in Cincinnati. And they put me into the reserve. So I was in the reserve for about a year, and I got a phone call from the recruiter, and he left me a voicemail and said, hey, would you give me a call? I think I have an opportunity for you. And he explained to me the CANREC program, and it's where through the reserves you have the ability to come on and be a recruiter. And he asked if I would want to support the prior service mission. And I said, yeah, I knew what I went through. Absolutely. I would love the opportunity to help others not have to go through the obstacles that I did to join the reserve. And that's always been my driving force and kept me passionate behind our mission.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. And so have you been on, so you came on CANREC orders and then converted to CRF?
I did, sir. Yes,
TAR
sir.
CRF, right?
Yes, sir. I did.
Yeah, that's great.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
That was one quick question for you. How does your role as a recruiter differ from your work as an LS?
How does my work as a recruiter differ as an LS? So to answer that question, coming as a logistics specialist off of active duty on an aircraft carrier, there are actually a lot more similarities.
Okay.
I would say offering customer service and providing a service, instead of, so the big difference is the service being supply, whereas coveralls, boots, copy paper, repair parts, the service is people and their career. So that would be the main difference.
Yeah. And what's your status right now? Are you active duty, reserve? What status are you right now?
Sir, that's a really great question that I actually get from a lot of my peers. Because it's kind of confusing, when they met me, they were like, you were active duty, then you got out, you were civilian, weren't you? And then they're like, then you started drilling as a reservist, and now you're active duty and doing recruiting. So I fall under the CANREC program. So I went from reserves to apply for CANREC orders, which puts you on active duty.
Yeah,
so I'm
you
not
went
TAR.
through the same path that Senior did earlier, right? Okay, and you've been on the CANREC orders for a year.
A little over a year.
Yeah,
yes,
doing the prior service recruiting mission. Yeah, so you're recruiting people that went through a very similar process or seeking to go through a process similar to what you did. Yeah, really great. Really great.
That's awesome. All right, in you all's own words, what's the big win for service members who affiliate with the Navy Reserve?
Well, there's a lot of big wins for affiliating into the Navy Reserve. I would say a great win is the ability to really balance your civilian and military life. You can focus on your civilian career, your education, the family support and stability that you're looking for while serving in the reserves and staying warfighting ready.
That's great.
That is awesome.
How about you? How about you?
Well, another big win to go off of what Senior touched is our healthcare and retirement system. Healthcare is a big one. We offer TAMP coming off of active duty without a break in service. So TAMP is 180 days of free healthcare. So the healthcare that you experience while on active duty.
Mhm.
And then following that, you fall under TRICARE Reserve Select. So you pay into it, and it's a lot more affordable than you would think.
Mhm.
And you don't actually have to go to military facilities to seek health care. And then the second one that I covered was beyond healthcare was retirement.
Mhm.
So that's an accumulation of both your active duty service and the time that you put into the reserves to add up to 20 years and then collect retirement at age 60.
Yeah. So you're leveraging all that you did in your initial service and your active service as a foundation for that continuation into reserve service. Yeah, really good. Really good.
Can you all walk us through one outreach method that has consistently produced results?
Oh, that's fun.
So nothing will ever be being able to meet with someone one-on-one, but a good tool that we're utilizing in this mission is the CCCs, the Command Career Counselors, having a relationship and connecting with them to reach the sailors directly with the commands.
Yeah, talk a little bit more about that part of the process, because we've relatively recently shifted the responsibility for more of the responsibility for connecting with active component sailors coming off active duty onto the NRRC recruiters, onto sailors like you, LS1. How has that transition gone? Have you seen a marked increase in opportunity, or is it pretty much business as usual?
I actually think the process that we changed to gives us more time to reach out to these sailors up to 12 months in advance. Gives them more time and a sense of security that they're tracking the process ahead of time, tackling their paperwork ahead of time, such as making sure that they know what paperwork they need and getting that in a timely manner instead of the process feeling rushed and kind of catching people out the door and making a rushed decision. This one ensures readiness.
That's really good. Security piece is very important to sailors. I mean, we're humans, and that's a huge transition coming off of active duty. So providing that is great.
Yeah. Senior, any thoughts there? How's it felt from the headquarters perspective as we took on this role from PERS 9, RPAC, who really ran that process, but without a real outreach component?
Yes, sir.
Right? That the sailors, the recruiters bring to the table. How has that felt from a headquarters perspective?
From a headquarters perspective, sir, we're really seeing us being able to engage in more of a personal relationship. We have sailors that are on the waterfront and integrated into the commands to build that personal relationship with the career counselors and strengthen our partnership, which is giving us the ability to, again, to talk about what LS1 touched on, is that security and that true honest foundation of them having somebody to assist, guide them personally into that transition of the reserve. So I see us having a much larger outreach, being able to have our sailors in the command personally working with the sailors in the Triple Cs.
Yeah. And how are we doing at expanding our connectedness in that area? So as an example, I know on the officer side, we make contact with almost 100% of officers getting out. Prior to this change on the enlisted side, it was a much lower connect percentage. So on the officer side, it was like 50% are affiliating with the reserves, and on the enlisted side, it was more like 10%. How are you seeing that change over time, and what kind of feedback are you getting from the sailors that are converting?
Yes, sir. So as of May, NRRC did assume full outreach of us integrating into the commands, and that really goes back to that personalization piece.
Yeah.
That we've seen a large increase of us being able to be responsible for that outreach. So we're reaching more sailors because now it is our responsibility, and we've taken ownership of that with pride. We have the best resources, which is our CANRECs, and they are sailors who were in the reserve themselves who can be a true testament to
Yes.
these sailors that are transitioning. And as we know, giving them that security and personal experience, right, that
Yeah.
trust piece really goes a long way because it's a very personal decision when you're thinking about transitioning off of active, but then saying yes to the Navy again. Because they have the misconception that this is it, right? I'm making this transition. I'm full-fledged going civilian. Maybe they have a mistrust with what the Navy's reserve could be.
Yeah.
So our outreach, sir, to go back on that, has definitely increased. We're seeing our touch. We have the ability to identify the members who are Seaway approved and then get face-to-face to those members who are not, who have not made that commitment.
Yeah.
And that has really expanded our outreach with the assumption in May because, again, we have the accountability
Yeah.
and responsibility to do
Yeah.
so.
That's really good. And LS1, how does it feel on the the tactical edge, the waterfront? Does it feel like that is a growing business? When you think about you and your shipmates that are walking the deck plates, I imagine going down onto the piers and talking to sailors. Does it feel like it's a growing opportunity? Business is booming, kind of thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. I feel like we're given the best resources to make more awareness. So even though I know we're all challenging to make goal and have a competitive edge, but there's an opportunity everywhere you go among peers, having friends in the
Yeah.
military, sharing your story, sharing what I do. Because I have a lot of people who I worked with, and now it's like, what's LS1 here doing now? It's can recorders. Have you heard about the reserves? Oh, you're looking to get out, and opening these conversations and connecting them with who they need to reach out to.
Yeah.
And utilizing and expanding all of our resources. Salesforce is a big one. That's one that when I started on these orders, it was kind of new to the R tags, and now the training that we're putting in and the hours that we're teaching our recruiters how to utilize Salesforce for the mission has been really key to our success.
Absolutely. When I got here in March of 24, NRRC was the shining star of the whole organization, right? On glide slope, doing good things. Really focused on the true prior service, the broken service kind of. They've gotten out. They didn't have the advantage that we're just discussing. Start to live a life, and then we find them and encourage them that they are seeking, like you were. Hey, how do I get into the reserves? And we were making mission with that. The fact that we've taken on this more direct engagement with active component sailors getting ready to get out, in my mind, feels like this incredible opportunity, right? When we think about where is the leverage to expand in prior service recruiting, you guys have done a fantastic job grooming the country for those that had broken service, right? And still do. But the area that has the most leverage, and I really want to communicate to recruiters out there that it's this engagement of the sailors that have not yet gotten out, and that we're doing everything we can from the headquarters to the waterfront to ensure that we are able to get in there and talk to those sailors, seeking out, maximizing the information that we have so that we know who is making a decision, right? Because as you mentioned, we know the people in Seaway.
Yes, sir.
But there's a whole bunch of other people that have a decision pending. They haven't done anything.
Yes,
Like,
sir.
how do we find them, right? I think it's a big project for the headquarters, the NRC headquarters, as well as NRC headquarters, to provide those tools to the recruiters in the field so that they know who to talk to.
So yes, sir, I'm thankful that you touched on that because we do. We have leads of the sailors who are within their 12-month window and even further out. We tend to start focusing for them at the 12-month mark, but they have a list of all sailors in their commands that are approaching an EAOS that is undecided. And those are the members that they go and they speak to the career counselors with. That's kind of the counselor, like I would say in active duty, right? They're your gatekeeper of getting into the school and you want to be friendly with them, right? Those are our career counselors. They know their sailors that are in their departments, and they help us get in front of those sailors. So they do have the identified members that they want to get in front of and talk about Navy opportunities,
That's
right?
right.
Staying Navy, whatever that may look like, we talk about staying Navy with these sailors.
Right. There, yeah, you're connected with your NC cousins,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes. So we do have that outreach with those members and the leads available to the field.
That's fantastic. Thank you.
Senior, earlier you spoke about misconceptions. Sometimes sailors have misconceptions about the reserves. What are some of those?
Some of the biggest misconceptions we see consistently is the location of the drill center. They assume that it has to be near the waterfront. The time that they will commit to the reserve. And then I would say the inability to move once they have committed to the reserve for their contract length.
Okay.
The inability to move, like they can't take a job somewhere else in the country
Yes, sir.
because you can't move reserve center, but that's not true. They
That is
can,
not, sir.
yeah, they can reaffiliate with a different reserve unit in a different location if they need to move, right?
Yes, sir. So LS1 can definitely touch on some of those misconceptions because her and I were discussing them before we got here. And I just wanted her field experience on how she approached that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, so to start with, true exchange is what it's called. A lot of people think that once they sign a contract, they have to lock in on that and stay where they decided to relocate, and that's just false. So you can request a true exchange, and we also have over 100 Navy Reserve centers and also overseas. Some people choose to go into government contracting. I know that my AOR covers all of EURCOM. And I have some people, currently have applicants right now who want to stay in Italy, stay in England. So that's a huge information that I want to push and touch on, are the locations that we offer, true exchange. And then the last one is time and commitment. So the reserves is very flexible, offering that 1 weekend a month, those 2 weeks of AT, which only boils down to 12 days that is scheduled in advance, and you always know what your drill dates are and maneuvering work-life balance from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
LS1, what's one must-do step you never skip when engaging a potential recruit?
Building genuine rapport and understanding their why. You know, why, what got you to the point of, I don't want to continue active duty service? I want to know what's going on right there, and I want to know how I can assure you how the reserves is going to benefit you. And so by that, building rapport, asking sometimes the hard questions and sometimes just
Yeah, I mean, it's really about, like, once you make contact, it's building that trust-based relationship. And that's true whether you're doing prior service recruiting or active component recruiting, officers, because these are big decisions. You said it earlier, Senior. It doesn't matter where you are in this path. I mean, in the prior service recruiting, to your earlier point, and LS1, you just touched on it, these people are making a decision to leave the Navy. There's something that's leading them out. Either they're running from something or to something, and understanding what that is and how the reserve can fit in that. But there's something really driving that decision. It's a big life decision. Anybody that's going to come back from broken service, it's a big life decision, and they're not going to believe you if they don't trust you. And so that authentic connection, the fact that both of you have lived the exact path that you're encouraging people to go down, gives that authenticity in the conversation, right? I think it's really important.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right, we're coming to a close, but I got a good question here. This is for both of you all. Finish this sentence. The Navy Reserve is.
The Navy Reserve is the best of both worlds. You get the ability to succeed in your civilian career while serving in the military and the Navy Reserve part-time.
Yeah, absolutely.
LS1, what you got for me?
Just one word, flexible.
That's
good.
great. That's great. And I think you both embody one end of the spectrum, which is you can get in the reserves and have limited contact 1 weekend a month, 12 days of AT, or there's all the way to full-time service as a can rec, as an example. And however aggressive you want to be in putting yourself out there to be connected to different units doing active things, that's the flexibility of it, I think. And it's a really great description you've both given, because I think that's what opens the door to people that have said, hey, you know what, I've done my time and I'm ready to move on to new opportunities. So it's really great.
Those one, any closing remarks?
Thank you for having us here. It was a great opportunity to meet you face to face and sit down and have a discussion that I hope reached both people who are interested in the reserves and current can recs and other recruiters out there in the nation.
Yeah, great. Great.
Senior?
I'm going to agree with LS1. This was a great opportunity. I know people have heard of Navy Recruiting Reserve Command, right? This really allows us to, talk about what we do and the impact we get to make. So thank you for taking the time to allow us to expound on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to our main and great host, Admiral Waters. Closing remarks, sir.
Yeah, I think it's awesome that you're both here. I think one of the things important to me is that Navy Recruiting Nation sees all of us, all y'all, as part of the recruiting enterprise, right? So Region East, Region West, and NRRC, NTAGs, RTAGs, we all are brothers and sisters in arms, building up the Navy, and really with the most important element of the Navy, which are its people. And there are many things that you share with every active component recruiter out there, the prospecting, building trust-based relationships, and closing. And then there's a bunch of unique things on like how to convert directly from AC to RC, etc. But I am excited that you're both here, getting your story out to Recruiting Nation so that others can learn from what's made you successful and the exciting things going on, especially with this ability to reach out directly to folks that are on active, getting ready to get out. I think it's great. So thank you both.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that concludes another episode of Uncharted Waters with Admiral Waters. Thank you for joining us today. And I would highly encourage you all to go out and get some microwave popcorn and force your family to watch these episodes for a week. You'll thank me later. Thank you.